Wow, can you believe it? Only 10 episodes left before we start Voyager. Can't believe it. Here we are, Season 7, Disc 4, Episode 267, aka Episode 167, because they started at 101. So technically it's 167, but they called it 267, Lower Decks. And when I think of Lower Decks, I think of the new cartoon that's out on Paramount Plus. So let's get to it. Shall we see what's on the lower decks? And if you could, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like and subscribe. Let me know I'm doing a good job. No captain's voiceover this time around. So let's see if I can get through this without making any mistakes. Let's see. So we start the episode off with Troy and Riker doing crew evaluation reports. And then they focus on another table. I'm not sure what's going on, but let's check this out. So first we're starting with Troy and Riker doing crew evals, and then the camera pans to a second table. So then the second table is crewman, and I recognize Nurse Ogawa, our nurse, and we have Lavelle and Cito, or is that Cito? And Cito and the Torek, and they're talking about the promotion, and this guy will end up on Voyager at some point. But they're talking about Troy and Riker doling out the promotions. And they talk about it for a while. We'll just go. I don't. Should we? Well, we'll just say they talked about it, and it comes up again in the future. And then the server guy who was serving Troy and Riker and also serving these guys lets these guys know that two of them are up for the same job, but only one of them is going to get it. Then Riker is doing a test. You're not told it's a test, but he's testing her on her skills, on her war skills. And apparently, they will all being tested because Geordi's telling him to hand in his report too. They all have to hand in their reports. So then Riker was giving instructions to the other guy at the helm, uh, Lavelle, and Picard comes in and says, "I've just received new orders from Starfleet. We'll discuss it in the observation lounge. Mr. Data, Mr. Worf, Ensign Cito, take over at Ops." "Yes, sir." And Data, Worf, and Picard go off into the observation room. And then these two talk about what happened. Uh, the Agara system is close to the Cardassian border. I wonder why we're going there. How'd you like to be a spider under the table? What? A spider under the table. Is that like a fly on the wall? I guess so. You did really well in the drill. Well, apparently Commander Riker didn't think so. I swear he's got it in for me. You're imagining things. Yeah, how come you're sitting in that chair instead of me? I guess he figured I needed more practice than you do. Don't we miss Wesley? Don't we miss Wesley so much? So then Torek wants to talk to Geordi. I'd like you to have a look at something. Have you been improvising again, Ensign? In a manner of speaking, I'm running a computer simulation to test a new warp field configuration. You've got a problem here. Your plasma flow to the nacelles is out of sync. Actually, sir, that was done deliberately. As you can see, this configuration has increased overall warp field integrity by 7%. You're right. Dr. Nilis Diaz has been experimenting with this technique at the Trilene Propulsion Laboratory. Yes, I'm familiar with the work, but I never heard anything about this. His findings have not been released. I was able to review the preliminary report when I was at the Academy. I look forward to reading it. I predict that when these findings are made public, they'll become a new model for warp field operation. Sounds interesting. With your permission, sir, I'd like to begin tests to see if the technique can be adapted to our warp fields. There might be variables that you didn't count for. I'm quite thorough. I'm sure you are, but I still need to see your simulation before I authorize any tests. Then Nurse Ogawa comes to talk to Beverly about the evaluations. Um, I'm recommending you for promotion. How does that sound, Lieutenant Alyssa Aguana? It sounds wonderful. I'd like to talk to Commander Riker, and I'm sure it'll be official as soon as the current crew evaluations are over. Oh, Alyssa, how are things going between you and Lieutenant Powell? Fine, I think. You think? I'm sure it's nothing. He seems preoccupied lately. He had to cancel our date. I see. He's putting together a research proposal. He's been really busy with it. I know what that's like. Sometimes I get so busy with research I forget to eat. I just wonder, what? If I ever met anyone like Andrew, it's as though we've known each other forever. You do seem well suited, but I know in the beginning of a romance it's possible to be a little blind. Let's see. But they continue to talk about her relationship. Um, I'm sure that when this research is over, things will be back to the way they were. Except, of course, that he'll have to deal with Lieutenant Algauer. Let's see what happens next. Okay, so then she's talking to Worf about what happened on the bridge and how awful she thinks she did. Now, I'm not sure if a Klingon can give sympathy like that, but she's feeling sorry for herself because she believes she did really poorly. And then while she's talking to him, these two back here are talking. So then these two are talking about her conversation with Worf. And they're wondering what's going on here. Then Riker walks in and they have a little talk about Riker. He waves hi and keeps on going to the bar. And he's second in command of the ship, that's why. I'm not Starfleet, I'm a civilian. When he's in here, he wants to be treated like a civilian. Riker? I bet he sleeps in his uniform. You only think that because he's your CO. If you got to know him, right. He's convinced Riker doesn't like him. Why? Did you crash the ship into something? No, he just doesn't like me. He doesn't even know you. That's right, you should go talk to him. About what? He likes jazz, poker, he's Canadian. Oh, my grandfather's Canadian. Well, there you go. So then he does. He gathers up his courage and goes talk to Riker. Um, can I do something for you? No, sir. I just came to get another drink. Is there something wrong with that one? No, sir. What are you having? Tricalian ale. Good choice. I'll have one too. My grandfather was Canadian, you know. Really? Aren't you one too? A grandfather? No, a Canadian, sir. No, I grew up in Alaska. Oh, well, they both get a lot of snow. Yeah, it was good talking to you, and he leaves. Oh, good God, how embarrassing. So then we're back on the bridge, and they're in the Agara system. Anything? No, sir. I detected no vessel in the vicinity. How close to the Cardassian border are we? Less than 5,000 kilometers, sir. Sir, I'm detecting an object 5 meters in length that appears to be an escape pod. They must have been forced to abandon ship. How far inside the Cardassian space? 50,000 kilometers. How the hell are we going to get it out of there? So the pod's life support system is failing. Notify Dr. Crusher. Can we get within transporter range without crossing the border? We need to boost the gain on the confinement beam at least 7%. Mr. LaForge? I like how they can just talk to the air. They just talk to the air, and the computer automatically knows where in the system, where in the ship to send their voice. It doesn't say computer, contact engineering. It just automatically goes to engineering, and automatically LaForge hears it. Sorry. So then Jordy's like, he's working on it. The pod's still too far away. I'm going to augment the frequency spread. Bio readings indicate the passenger's humanoid, attempting formula negation. No one told you to do that, Ensign. Let's get him aboard first. Confinement beams at 109% of normal. Transporter room, you should be able to get a lock now. So the nurse Agara runs into Cito outside sickbay. And she says, I'm not supposed to let anyone in but senior officers. Do you have any idea what's going on? No? Do you? No? I better go. Then he asks him if he could stay longer. Riker comes on and says the shift is dismissed. And he asks if he could stay longer to train more. And Riker says, no, it's not a good time. So then Picard spends some time in the turbo lift with Cito. How long have you served aboard the Enterprise, Ensign? 7 months, sir. I see. I understand that you've been recommended for the ops position. Do you think you're up to it? Yes, sir. I'm not so sure. I'm concerned about your record. Sir, the incident that you were involved in at the Academy. With all due respect, sir, that was 3 years ago. My record since then, it doesn't matter how long ago it was, Ensign. Would you do something like that again? I assure you, sir, that I would never jeopardize lives by participating in a daredevil stunt. I certainly hope not. What concerns me is that you participated in a cover up that impeded an official investigation into the death of a cadet. That was the Wesley incident. She was involved in the Wesley incident. And I want to know where Wesley is. Why isn't he here? He should be here. Sir, I know I should have told the truth right from the start. Yes, you should have, but you didn't. Instead, you joined with the others to pretend that it was simply an accident. Now, what do you think tells me about your character? Sir, if you had any idea what it was like after the incident, I don't have any friends, I don't have anyone to talk to. I had to take my flight test with the instructor because no one else would be my partner. And he's like, you shouldn't have lied. So, Jordy and Torak are doing some testing in the shuttle bay with the shuttle. So then Crusher brings Agawa in and tells her she's going to help with the patient, but she's not allowed to tell anybody about the patient. Okay, so then our group of ensigns is playing poker, and they talk about who the potential patient in sickbay might be, and they toss around different ideas. Then we go to the poker game with Riker, Worf, Dr. Crusher, and Geordi, and they too are talking about the ensigns. Then we go back to the lower decks, guys, and they're still talking about the promotional stuff. Then we're back to the senior officers, also talking about the promotional stuff. Then they go back to the lower decks cabin. So then we go back to the senior officers. Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Getting a little dizzy here. Since then Jordy comes in, and they were just talking about the fact that he was doing the tests with the nacelles, and he was pretty sure that Jordy wasn't appreciative of him bringing him new stuff. But now Jordy comes in and goes, "Look, I'm going to run these tests, and since you've already started doing, simulations on these tests, if you'd like to come and assist." So that kind of puts egg on his face, right? So then Ben wants to join his hand at poker with the senior staff. So then we're having martial arts training with Worf. So then Cito comes to talk to Picard. All I've ever wanted to is make a career for myself at Starfleet. I can't change what happened at the Academy. No one can. All I can do is work hard and try to earn the respect of the people I serve with. If you're not going to give me a chance, then I respectfully request that you transfer me to another ship. If you're looking for a more lenient commander, I don't think you'll find one. Permission to speak freely, sir. If you didn't want me on your ship, you should have said so when I was assigned to it. It's not your place to punish me for what I did. I worked hard here. My record is exemplary. Very well, Ensign. I will. It took courage to come here and face me after what I said to you the other day. I didn't ask you here because I was assessing your qualifications for the ops position. I don't understand. I was harsh with you because I wanted to assess you for a very important mission. A mission that could put you in a situation that would be far more unnerving by dressing down your commanding officer. Can I ask what that mission is? Join the senior officers in the observation lounge at 0900 to discuss. Ooh! She's getting something big! Now, where the hell is Wesley? Would someone explain to me where the hell Wesley is in all this? So then Dr. Crusher and O'Gara have a talk, and she confesses that her boyfriend has asked her to marry him. So then the Cardassian, Riker, Picard, Worf, and the ensign are in the observation lounge. And they call her in and explain to her that this is the guy that was in the escape pod that we retrieved. He's a member of the Cardassian military and a Federation operative. He risked his life to bring us valuable information about the Cardassian strategic intentions, informative that could very well enhance the security of Bajor, as well as other planets in the sector. Now it's absolutely imperative that we return him safely back to Cardassian space. It won't be easy. The border is heavily guarded. All his ships and his ship was destroyed. He'll be using one of our shuttles. If a patrol passes me, I will claim to have stolen it. We have distressed the shuttle so it appears to have been fired upon. Jarrett will attempt to talk his way past control. If I were alone, the chances of my succeeding were slim. But if I were a prisoner with me, a Bajoran terrorist, I would appear to be a bounty hunter. Border crossings of this nature are not uncommon, and for a price of control that can be convinced to look the other way. So they're explaining to her that she is going to be playing hostage so he can get back across the border. I don't like this at all. Dr. Crusher did cosmetic surgery on the child so it looked like she was tortured. And she gets in the shuttle and she goes with the guy as the prisoner. Then they have a little chit chat as to why she's doing this and all this kind of stuff. So then her friends are in 10 forward and they're all trying to figure out what happened to her, and they're all contemplating the fact that she was on that shuttle. Then we get a voiceover from the captain. Captain's log, stardate 47566.7. We've reached the coordinates in the Federation space where Ensign Cito's escape pod was to have rendezvoused with us. However, we've been waiting for over 30 hours, and as of yet, there's no sign of her. So, her escape pod is over 32 hours late, and they're scanning the area and waiting, and they don't find anything. And then Picard has Data do some extra sensory perception out there with the sensors and stuff, and he eventually finds composition of escape pod remains. And then he finds a report that a Cardassian ship destroyed an escape pod. Um, they get a message. Captain's log supplemental. We've intercepted a Cardassian report stating that a Bajorian prisoner escaped her captor and was killed in an evacuation pod as she tried to leave Cardassian space. So Picard gets on the microphone and tells everybody, to all Starfleet personnel, this is the captain. It is my sad duty to inform you that a member of the crew, Ensign Cito Jax, has been lost. In the line of duty, she was the finest example of a Starfleet officer and a young woman of remarkable courage and strength of character. Her loss will be deeply felt by all those who knew her. Picard out. So he made the speech from his office. So then they're congratulating him because he got the promotion. And somewhere in the back of his mind, he may be thinking that he got the promotion because Cito died. And he may have to live with that for a while. Um, I just got promoted. Congratulations. Thanks. I just don't feel right. For all I know, she was going to get the promotion instead of me. You shouldn't feel that way, Sam. She would have been happy for you. The best way to remember her is to excel in your new position. We're proud of you, Sam. Excuse me, sir, but I need to move this table. What? There's an empty seat over there. I'd appreciate what you're trying to do, but it's not appropriate. You were her friends. I was only her commanding officer. So I know that she was considered you a friend. So Worf joins the group, and that's where the episode ends. So I hope you were at Homeward Bound and Sub Rosa and Thine Old Self is next week. I hope you will tune in. And if you could please hit the like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Have a good one.